Welcome back to the Blindsiders. I am Ben, and I'm here with Brian to talk about episode number 10 of Survivor 46. And I think we had another really great episode. This is like three in a row of like really fire episodes. Even like the one before, the Split Tribal, I know we hate it. It was like, four Split Tribal episodes, probably one of the better ones, or at least one of the less bad ones. It's like one of the rare times where it like kind of worked. I'm still like I've been high in the season. I continue to be high in the season. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, loved it. Someone having a complete mental breakdown over Applebee's. Hard to get better than that. Just screaming at other players. I know we're in like the new era of like everybody's a super fan, so no one takes it. Well, no one wants to be perceived as taking stuff personally. That's lame to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think people should take stuff personally, and there's nothing better than when a cast gets a good hate for each other going on, and this cast is delivering so hard, like better than I could have ever dreamed. When Jeff was anti-hyping it up by saying we're not gonna cast villains, Jeff, I think you need to reevaluate here because this is so good.
Yeah, I don't know if they need to cast villains, but whatever they did to cast this season is like the formula they need to use going forward.
Yeah, just cracked people.
Yeah.
Just everyone is just a little bit of a lunatic.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, like I mean, you kind of have to be. You already have to be a little bit of a lunatic to agree to go on Survivor in the first place, unless you're
Very
like,
true.
unless you're getting like Navy recruiter style like gaslit into believing it's something it's not. But yeah, this cast is like I think this is also proof that the things that make a good Survivor season are just like a really dynamic and motivated cast of people who like very much care about winning and will like get emotionally upset at losing. I think that's like people hate like the bitter juror thing or whatever, but what comes alongside bitter jurors often is people who care so much about winning that they like start to dislike the other players for making them lose. And we saw like glimpses of this last season, which I think is why that season was like, in my opinion, a step up from the first four of the new era. But like this is like full on tsunami of people who just don't like each other. And Jeff leading into it, like he's like poking the bear. It's like the first time in a long time that Jeff is like agitating the players into creating drama.
Want to talk about how you're feeling right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah, just like you need the host to have like the balls to be able to like see that going on and be like, okay, how do I twist this to make it go even worse?
Yeah, and I want to bring up Tiffany in her exit interview said that Q didn't let them switch. Like they offered to give up their spot, and Q said no. Hilarious.
Yeah, they tried to San Juan del Sur, give up reward, and Q said no, it's not on my watch. Big mistake.
Big mistake. Yeah. It was not a big mistake to cast Q. It was also very funny. I was like, damn, I think Tiff, is a good player. She could maybe win this during the episode. Mm-hmm. Obviously before like the scramble for tribal and stuff. And I was like, oh man, maybe I should have picked her. Cause I thought maybe she had a chance when we were doing the first episode and picks and stuff. But no, I still, on paper was correct to pick Q, who continues to just, dodge and weave his way through things.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, like this is the first time that I've like agreed with Jeff's kind of evaluation of the game at Tribal Council, where he's like, I mean, it's pretty, blatant at this point, but like he's like pointing out very obviously that the players are using Q as like a decoy smokescreen, as he puts it, to be able to pull off blindsides. And this is 3 times in a row now that's gone, and maybe it'll be 4 next week. And if it keeps going like that, that's fine. Like if Q gets dragged to the end as a goat, and ends up like getting 0 votes at the end, because like they just keep doing this strategy over and over again, and it keeps inexplicably working. to me, that's a great rest of the season. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, a real like kind of borrowing the pawn strategy from Big Brother, where it's just like that's the person we're targeting. We're just gonna put them up each time, but really, there's no way they're going home. Come meet with the HOH. Hey, I know it's gonna be tough, but I need you to just sit on the block. But don't worry, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah, and as Tiffany said, send them to the jury house.
Right. I think that was probably the most disappointing part of the episode for me was Tiff and Kenzie just being like, oh, well, yeah, this time, obviously, we're really voting out Q and just buying that, like, without. Am I crazy, Ben, to be like, after 2 times, Q's pretty locked in, It's similar. Romeo was in the spot on his season, and people believe. I don't get it. People believe it.
Yeah, it's kind of Sean Caniff-esque, like if it happens one more time, then I'll believe it.
Gonna start thinking there's an alliance happening.
Yeah. maybe there's an alliance going on.
There's your ultimate throwback reference that we love to do. Yeah. Dr. Sean getting a shout out in 2024.
I was because they announced, we try not to do tangents too much this episode. We do them a lot, but season 50 was announced as being a big return.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that though. That's like huge news. So yeah, keep going.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, well, the one of the more recent times they've done big hype seasons, I guess like Winners at War, they brought back season 3 winner Ethan, because like obviously I don't think they were going to be able to bring back Richard for legal reasons. So that makes sense.
Season 2 player Amber.
Yes, and they've brought back in Cambodia Kelly Wigglesworth from Borneo, and I'm like thinking, okay, season 50. Do they need to have somebody who is on Borneo to like try to bookend that and like really hype it up? And I was struggling. I know a lot of people are floating like Jenna Lewis, like there's like a big Jenna Lewis push out of nowhere. But like we just brought up Dr. Sean, and like that just makes me want Dr. Sean 2.0 now, 25 years later.
Yeah. Listen. Jenna Lewis, prolific performer, regardless of the medium. I think we all know that. But Dr. Sean would be interesting. I would just love, after years of just being completely out of the Survivor community, Greg just comes out on Survivor 50.
Well, I think he was
now, but
he was floated for Game Changers, right? Like he was like
he's been in the mix.
So.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me a little. Okay, well, fuck it. We're gonna go on a little bit of a tangent for our history. I guess Gabe from Marquesas got very far into the casting process recently before they realized that he had already been on Survivor.
That's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, which maybe bring Gabe back. Maybe he's ready to play after all this time.
Yeah, well, I think like there was like a joke they made at the time where like he like applied for the Thailand Amazon cycle immediately after getting off of Marquesas, and they were like, no.
Like, this is a really fun time. I would love to do it again.
Yeah. I mean, like any early season player that like really didn't wrap their mind around the game at that point because it was so fresh, who like might be able to come back. I think that's like, I think that's what they were going for with Kelly Wigglesworth on Cambodia, and it didn't really pan out.
She certainly was not ready.
Yeah,
what was happening in Cambodia?
I think like I think casting somebody for an early season like that who has like maybe seen a season of Survivor in full would be a good start.
Yeah, that was actually hilarious too when like she was doing like the promo. So like, so you kept up with the show? She's like, no, I have not watched the show ever. It's like, okay, that will be interesting.
Well, I mean, it is like it makes sense that they tapped her, right? She was the only one of the Taggy 4 to not return on All Stars. And I guess like
the very first losing finalist for second chance, like Slam dunk.
1 vote away from winning the first season of the show. But, if we're going that route, Sean Kniff, he was also on Toggy. Only Toggy to make the merge, who has now returned. So
it's a great point.
This is my pitch right now, Survivor. Reach out, see what Dr. Sean's doing.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many. We could, and maybe we will do a podcast where we just, it's like that meme of like guys can hang out and just name random sports players, but us for Survivor players. That will be the podcast.
Yeah, man. This is Tracy Hughes Wolf's final chance to come back, finally, after all these years.
Oh man, but yeah,
everyone wants Natalie Bolton, but the real fans know it's Tracy.
I mean, robbed, honestly, screwed over by she's never in a great position, but she worked it as best she could. Screwed over by Chet. Let's be honest. Yeah. He could have voted Ozzy off and then quit. He should have done that.
Yeah.
But, nice things.
They didn't have the fortitude that this cast had back in the day to like have somebody threaten to quit and be like, no, we're actually going to drag you as far as humanly possible and continually not allow you to quit and instead use you as a decoy.
Yeah, I mean, it'll all be so great. We got over a year. Well, I guess they're going to start filming in like a year from now, but we got a little bit more than a year to speculate about all these players coming back, and then it's going to be like 90% people from season 40 on. That's going to be just real beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think you have to kind of temper your expectations, right? I know a lot of people are like, oh, they should do like a new era second chances for 49 so they can do like a full legend season on 50.
I do agree they should have had a returnee season to get it out of the way. One, like, you just don't know, Amber won All-Stars. I don't think anyone would have suspected that going into that. Rob became like the legend that he is from All-Stars. Kelly Wentworth was the 4th boot on her original season. Now she's like a, bona fide legend of Survivor. Like, you should have these seasons that people who are lesser known, Parv, a perfect example. Like, these players who come back on maybe not, All Stars is obviously very big, but like a fans versus favorites, a fan vote second chance. Like, you gotta let them build their legacy a little bit, because one, if you do have like 10 legends who I think probably aren't going to go back to the well of Rob, Parv, Sandra, Sari. I think probably their Survivor story is over. But even like, so if you get like big names from that era who haven't come back, and then it's just like, I don't know,
like Caleb.
Yeah. It's like him, nice guy, fun move. Not a legend of Survivor,
Yeah.
You got what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that would have been probably the way to do it, which I don't think they are. They haven't said that they aren't. They've only said that 47, 48 are all new. So like they haven't explicitly said that they aren't going to do like 49 as some kind of returnee season.
I don't want to. Okay, so I used to run LRGs, and I would always do a fan versus favorite season before an all-star season, so I could bring back like the people who are on the peripheral of like, is this someone who's like a good player who just like didn't put it together in the season they played in, and can they like elevate? And I think Survivor should do stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I don't love the fans versus favorites format.
It's a bad format.
Yeah, I think like it worked pretty much as well as it theoretically could in Micronesia, and even that season has issues that a lot of people ignore. And yeah, I would definitely prefer them to just do a full like 41 through 48 only All Stars New Era season on 49. And then that can kind of establish like who are some like, you know, stars that were like maybe hidden, so like hidden gem stars from the era that can be on 50, and then also it, you know, leaves a like a potentially stronger pool of people who weren't on 49 to then also be on 50 as well. Like it's just like it gives you the best of both worlds, and it makes it so like you don't have this, you know, this season where like what kind of happened on Winners at War, where you bring back like 70-80% people who have played recently, and they just kind of all team up and vote out the 20-30% older people.
Probably hung out at shows and stuff recently, charity events. Cody was the person I was trying to name, like a person who's just like, oh, he was fun on his season, but not a legend. So I guess we'll see. You know, there's some people who I hope, and I almost want to make a video. Maybe we can make it for the Game Bots channel of like 35 to 39, like 5 men, 5 women. That it's like I hope they don't get forgotten because you know at the time felt like Locks, Chrissy, you know, someone I think of
even Chrissy
like,
and Devin, you know,
Chrissy and Devin, someone like Janet, who I feel like got mega boned on Island of the Idols, like, and was in a position to where maybe she could have won the season if what happened didn't happen. Like players like that, where it's like, I don't think they're gonna get the call because it's been like a while, but it would be nice if they did.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've like obviously like started looking back and tried to make my dream cast of what I would want for 50. I think I would be surprised if even a third of the people that I would want end up on the season.
It's gonna be so many people from 40 on, and then also Rick Devens.
Yeah,
like I just know it.
Yeah, and like
nothing against Rick. He seems great.
Maybe Dom.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see. I hope they tap winners that weren't on Winners at War. That like
I want Chris back. I want to see if he can make the jury or the merge. At least mergatory.
Yeah, what I did was I said the best way to do it, if we're not going to do 2 seasons back to back 49-50, is I want to do like 4 tribes of 5 people from each like kind of era of Survivor, and kind of split it up that way. So like 5 real old school people, 5 like mid school, like, you know, teens into the 20s, and then 5 people from like late 20s into 30s, and then 5 new era people. And then like you get a good spread. You know, aren't going to be so new school heavy, so that they just all team up and vote out the old school people. You know, it really kind of like isolates it. And so I picked a winner from each era that I wanted that wasn't on Winners at War, that like I think has something to prove. And I think it's like Erica, Chris Underwood, Fabio, and Vesepia were the 4 I picked.
I would love that. I would love if they called Vesepia back. I listened to it on a podcast with Erica. She didn't seem overly optimistic that they would give her a call back, unfortunately. But
yeah,
she's really the
opportunity to fix that mistake.
Right. I mean, she's really the only one. I mean, Brian shot a puppy, so I don't think they're going to bring him back. But she's the only winner of that era who hasn't come back, right? Other than Brian, who again shot a puppy and will not be invited back to Survivor. Yeah,
other than like Chris Doherty.
Yeah,
like if you count like you know like through like 13, right? In the first 13 seasons, those are the 3, and then you get like Earl and Todd haven't been.
Crazy. Really crazy to me, but okay. So I think we did a good job. You know, people would have been like, "Why the how do these 2 of all people not talk about Survivor 50?"
Yeah, and then also like, you know, probably should have hit at the top of the show, but talking about Survivor Borneo as well. This past week, Sonia Christopher, unfortunately passed away. It's the first ever boot of Survivor, the first boot of season 1. Legend. So
really She started it all.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's so crazy. Because I felt like she was in her late 50s, early 60s when she played Survivor.
Yep.
In 2000. So just awesome. We lost Rudy and BB before, so time relentlessly marches on.
Yep.
But gotta honor a legend, like you said.
All right, I guess we have to talk about Survivor 46 again. We had no tangents, and then we immediately went on a 10-minute tangent. But we kind of have to.
We had to, we had to. So Applebee's, Ben, how are you feeling about Applebee's? I was hyped that Survivor had a sponsor. I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. They made 3 people split a chicken last season. This is such a leg up, and then it became one of the greatest moments, I feel like, in at least 10 or 20 seasons.
Yeah, you joked like, oh, they heard us complain about how shit their awards were, and they're like, okay, let's give them so much food that they can't even eat it all, and make it into a meme, like how we're giving them all of this food, and then we place a burger on them, and all of them say no to the burger.
That's crazy. I mean, I'm sure their stomach shrank, but
no, yeah, you don't want to Joe Del Campo yourself.
I'm at least taking a bite of the burger. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. At least like a mushroom,
It was a mistake to serve them the milkshake before the burger.
Mm-hmm.
That was the milkshake too much. Once you eat that, it is over.
I'll say this: I don't know if I would want dairy on Survivor.
No, that was the last thing.
Yeah.
Tiff says she's lactose intolerant as well. Oh,
yeah.
Probably not a fun night.
Yeah, imagine getting blindsided and going to Ponderosa and then shitting your brains out.
Hey man, I have Crohn's. I know. Mm-hmm. I can imagine it all too well.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's I like you said, I have Crohn's, so I would actually legitimately be worried that I would get medevaced if I drank that milkshake.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be so embarrassing. More embarrassing than having a meltdown about Applebee's.
Yeah. So this was a very obviously Liz-centric episode. Mm-hmm. We kind of start out with her lamenting the fact that she was left out of the vote, and we get confirmation that this was a split that Kenzie and Venus were in on. We speculated last week that was the case, but it wasn't really clarified, or it wasn't very clear until this week. So it's good to get that clarification that, as we expected, as we guessed, that Kenzie and Venus were in on it, but Liz was not. A lot of emotions building up between her feeling like her game is coming to an end because her big move that she made to get out Kevin, which questionable whether it was good or not, but it was big, overshadowed by Q. She now gets a real hate in her for Q, and now she wants to vote out Q. She is the only person left out of a blindside on somebody that's not Q, and now she comes into this episode. And big reward. This is her heart, her love with her daughter, her favorite restaurant. I didn't think that they would cast somebody on Survivor who loved Applebee's more than Karishma, but they figured it out.
Yeah.
And I saw this coming, Brian, a mile away. I don't know about you. I was like, they're milking this so much. I could see where this is going. I didn't know it was going to be that explosive, but I could see where it was going.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I was like, why the fuck would Q pick her? Mm-hmm. Never on the same tribe. She seemingly doesn't like him. She voted against him. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Okay, I'm sympathetic to the fact that she can't eat. That sucks. That's probably very hard. She also chose to go on Survivor, so my sympathies only go so far. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's unfair from my point of view. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I mean, both of us have dietary restrictions, in different ways. I have allergies. I'm a vegetarian, pescatarian, and I probably would not eat meat on Survivor because it would fucking annihilate my insides. like I would have to like if I cared to do that, I would probably have to wean myself onto meat in some small way going into the show.
Yeah,
and like
drink
I
like
don't even know
broth
whether
or something.
I don't even know whether I would do that. Like I've like accidentally eaten chicken before and like been stuck in the bathroom all night. Like
Yeah.
it's not, you know, when you've not eaten meat for like 15 to 20 years and you're it's like it almost becomes a trained allergy.
Right.
So yeah, I can sympathize from that perspective where like I probably would also struggle on Survivor, but like I could eat rice. I have a nut allergy, but I could eat coconut even though I don't really like coconut.
Right. Yeah.
So I definitely understand from her perspective, like, she can't eat a lot. And that makes her have a struggle. She hasn't eaten barely anything in the 20 days that they've been out there. So yeah, but I mean, I agree. I didn't expect Q to pick her, which is why I saw where this is going, especially when Q started leading in the challenge. I was like, oh yeah, no, I know what's going to be happening here.
Yeah, Q was like, there's chicken wings, and I would have been the same, just like going so hard to get some chicken wings.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was like, I understood both sides. Obviously, I don't want to be a enlightened centrist about it, but but yeah, Hugh totally valid to not pick her and to like want to make it very clear that he does not want to give her the satisfaction of like intruding on his reward when she has tried relentlessly to get him eliminated from the game, and openly dislikes him. And Liz, like, definitely, like, I understand the frustration of, like, it's, I know people like, people like to clown on, for instance, like Rodney on Rodney's birthday, washing the dishes. He didn't get picked for a reward. But, like, Survivor is a psychologically destructive game. These people are, like, basically at their worst. So, I don't know. All I care about is it was good TV.
Yeah, on his damn birthday.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Yeah, it was just so great. Like, the rant itself was amazing, and then Q taking all the wind out of her sails and being like, but you voted for me last night.
Yeah, and then Charlie did like the Jim Halpert phase, so like,
yeah,
I mean,
it's like, I mean, he has you there.
Yeah, fair. My favorite part of the whole scene was Venus like 10% inching towards her to try to give her a hug, and then she like screams again, and the Venus like backs off.
I mean, she's trying to be there for her, but
yeah, I was like,
that was the right move.
One of the more humanizing moments for Venus, I would say. It was like I would probably be that person.
And then she has to like return to camp, which is like, all right, well, that was a lot. Sorry y'all had to see that. Oh man. So yeah, great moment. I loved it. I texted you immediately after, just like that was great. That was so great. This is what Survivor needs. Man, yeah, I just loved it. There's a secret scene too where she like even more played up the like I haven't been able to eat so much. It was like, oh man, this would have been even funnier, but it wasn't necessary because, like you said, it was well set up in the show.
Yeah, I thought like the editing this episode was really, really strong, just in terms of like the storytelling and like a lot of like comedic timing where they panned from the burger on the reward to like Liz being dejected on the beach. And it's like transition, like fade away the shot of the burger into Liz's face. It's like, oh man,
yeah, so good.
The editors ate, even though Liz didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. And then I loved the challenge, shouting out my keyboard to doing it for the state of Alaska and everything. That was great. I loved that. That's the thing with like these longer episodes. You can have like more fun moments like that which I really appreciate. And I'm so glad that the next 2 seasons are also 90 minutes. Like, I saw some people complaining about it. You're fools.
Look, the only time this season where the episode felt too long was episode 2, which was 2 hours for no reason because of like scheduling, because of Amazing Race wasn't starting until the next week.
Right.
And like, yeah, obviously like 2 hours for a non-premiere, non-finale is too long. I think we can all agree on that. Like we've figured out 90 minutes is a sweet spot. Because they made one random episode 2 hours and it felt too long, doesn't mean that 90 minutes is too long.
I think like the other thing people say, the Banu boot episode was just like the episode before rehashed.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, yes, this is a little like much.
But like, that was a very,
yeah, that's just what you said. It's not going to happen again.
Yeah,
you're not going to have another Banu.
Not going to have another Banu, and we're also not going to have another Banu who sticks around an extra episode because of a metafac.
Yeah, so it's fine. It's fine. Now everyone's in love with the show, which is good. I think people will continue to be, up for these 90-minute episodes. But yeah, I like this challenge a lot. I think it's a good one. I think it's pretty fair. I thought it was really intense how it went down between Charlie and Tiff, and I think like Charlie is, underestimated. I don't know if he'll be underestimated anymore, but like he's a beast. He's really good at challenges.
Yeah, even in the team section, like pre-merge, we talked about like I think Hunter really stole out of the spotlight for the first half of the season for challenges, just because he was so good at a lot of the like carnival game style like tasks. As well as obviously just being physically fit. But Charlie carried Sega through a lot of those challenges, and that was something we pointed out at the time. Like he's just because he's like built kind of scrawny, like doesn't mean he's not in shape, right? Like the guy's he's like a college track athlete. He's like ran marathons.
Yeah, cross country, like those cross country people are in shape, like crazy. Can barely run to my fridge between, commercials. They're running, like you said, marathons, and so really impressive. Grip strength, I have those grip strength things. Just I find them good for stress, but also going on Survivor, definitely part of the meta now will be people buying those. Those things are gonna shoot up in price on Amazon.
First it was the like 3D printed puzzles, and now it's gonna be the the things, whatever they're called.
I don't know what they're called. Well, it's good to have good grip strength. Just in life, it's good.
Good for opening jars, hanging out at the edge of cliffs when you're in a cartoonish situation.
Yep, you look cool when someone's like, "Can anyone open this jar?" And you're like, "I can." And then if it's too hard, you gotta like really try and like lock in.
Run under hot water.
Yeah. Hit the side.
Yeah. You can get a knife. I swear I can. I swear.
Yeah. That's fine. But so get on Charlie, and then taking the physical, and then moving into the next phase of it with Maria. That Malcolm Denise, shout out. It wasn't just, looks wise. I guess appearances. Whereas like older lady, younger guy, this is very reminiscent. But they also have the strategic chops to earn that comparison, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we like talking about how Charlie, from a social perspective, is very like good at deflecting threat level. And it's kind of very like, I don't know, what's the word for it? Like disarming, I guess. Like
right.
And we talked about like why that is, and it is very Malcolm-esque almost, where on Philippines especially, Malcolm was like very well liked, but wasn't ever really like seen as somebody that had to be voted out or like a huge threat, even though he was like obviously strategically and socially running a lot of the game.
Yeah, and like they both have the like, oh shucks about them, where it's like, oh, that that's just Malcolm, that's just Charlie. Like they're just our buddy, but no, they're good. I think it's like probably, I don't want to. Charlie's like a handsome guy, but Malcolm's like a hot guy. You know what I mean? So that I feel like that's easier. If you're like a hot guy with a good personality, it's like easier to be charming. So like also shout out Charlie for he's an attractive guy, but like Malcolm, I mean he's Malcolm. He's come on.
Yeah. Malcolm, Malcolm's making all the cat ladies on Facebook swoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like one of the few castaways that the cat ladies and the big fans like agree on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I agree. I mean, like I think we saw the potential, I think, for Charlie and Maria to do what they're doing, but I think we expected more of an issue for them to really grab this control. And I think a lot of it comes down to other players messing up. I think Kevin messed up. I think Hunter really dropped the ball and was not as good of a player as we potentially thought he was. I think Kenzie has shown in the last couple of weeks that she's misplayed what should have been a really strong hand. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe we see them go to the end, but I don't know. I feel like this cast has too much fight, and they're not going to let them. But I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's especially fun because, this was like a good move. They did leave themselves open, so there are 4 people who can come together and flip it on the Sega 3. They're banking on those 4 not doing that, and I think it's a good risk, but it is still a risk.
Yeah, it's hard because the best thing for them that's preventing that in theory is that Q and Liz hate each other.
Yes.
But they were able to this vote with the pushing of Charlie and Maria vote together on this in this Blindside of Tiffany. So they've both demonstrated that they're able to work together when it strategically benefits them, at least in the short term. And put aside their emotions. So maybe
I'm not willing to say that they're going to get to the final 3 right now. There's still a lot of game left, and they are wide open. Although there does seem to be from the previews a mad idol scramble, which I think they'll probably put. I always question this. Do you think they put a merge idol in these 3 tribe seasons or not?
I can't keep track anymore, and it's so inconsistent that I don't even care to try to make a guess. But I do agree, there are no idols or advantages in the game at this point. It would definitely not surprise me for them to hide an idol at this point. Especially all 3 idols have failed this season. They've all been blindsided with them in their pocket, which is great. All 3 of those blindsides were amazing. The idols don't have to be played for them to be good.
Right. And I just because I would always in my mind just kind of be when it was a 2 tribe season, there's going to be one here, there's going to be one here, there's going to be one at the merge. That's going to be its own idol. And it seemed like that proved to be the case for a lot of the late 20s and 30s. But now, like you said, I don't know what the idol situation is.
Yeah. I mean, I think they have re-hid them, right? At least in the new era, probably more frequently than they haven't, especially when there's none left in the game and we're kind of at a spot where they could be found and used, where there's 3 rounds left to use an idol. I would, if you had to make me guess, I would say yes, it's being re-hidden, especially because they're showing us an idol search in the preview. I don't think they're doing that unless somebody finds the idol next episode.
Yeah, because this is around the time when Jake found the idol last season, right?
Yeah, and then you also have Marianne, who those idols flushed in the mid merge, and then she refound it the next round, the final 8 or something like that.
Yeah, and she was able to bring it out at final tribal.
She never needed it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we'll see. I mean, anyone can find it. Should be interesting to see who does, and that could change everything. Could change nothing, but it'll be exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, I agree. I think even though it feels like Charlie and Maria's game to lose at this point, I think the season has been chaotic enough where it would not surprise me if they went out 7-6 right now and we got some really fucking wacky final three. I know everybody since the merge, or since like at least like the Kevin boot, has been like, man, what if we get a Q, Liz, and Venus final three? That's been like the like drum everyone's been beating, is like the final three the season needs to like elevate it. And yeah, I don't know what would happen if that was I have literally no clue who wins that.
Imagine if Q wins and it's just like I somehow back into like I came in thinking he was gonna be like this really good player, and then he just like slapstick comedy wins the game. That'd be great.
I mean, look, I think Hugh has the ego to go into Final Tribal and pretend like the quit thing was some like 5-head Zayn Knight strategy that paid off, and he knew that was going to happen the entire time. And he's like orchestrated this entire situation now where he's being used as a decoy smokescreen by everyone. He's like, that was the plan the whole time, and it paid off. Like, I definitely think he has like the ego to sell that. It's just a matter of like, is the jury going to buy that? Like,
I think. Let's see, what would the sell be? I think, this would be very tough, but he could go in and just be like, once the merge started, I saw that the bigger threats were going to start getting picked off one by one. Tim got picked off, leaving out that he's the one who picked him off, of course. Tevin got picked off. I knew right then and there I needed to do whatever I could to fade into the background. So I devised this plan to say that I quit, to say my head's not in it. I started sleeping alone away from everyone on the shelter so people would forget about me and not see me as a threat, even though on paper I'm like the most threatening person at a merge. I am the merge brute in a lot of seasons, and it worked to perfection. Maybe that could work, Ben. I could see it.
The Dr. Will 2.0, like, make your target so big it disappears strategy.
I mean, I don't think Q did that.
No, but I don't think he did that. But I'm saying that like that's the sell. I think he has. I think he has it in him, like from a personality perspective and from like a understanding the game to a degree perspective, to like make that sell and like understand that's what he would need to argue. I don't know. I have no idea. Like at this point, I feel like Charlie or Maria wins. I could see Kenzie still potentially winning, even though this episode did not do her a lot of favors. But yeah, I don't know. I think a Venus win would be awesome. I think that's like I think that would be hilarious. I was thinking about it where she's been on the right side of basically every vote except for this one. And this episode, she was like by far the quietest as she's always been this season. Yeah, that's something the Survivor does, is they like when they have a winner who's on the wrong side of a vote, they'll very often either use that as like a springboard for a revenge story, or they'll completely edit the winner out of that episode so they don't look like the most stupid person in that blindside. Which I think Kenzie looked the stupidest during this episode. Outside Kenzie, obviously. And like I think she kind of soaked up a lot of that, where Venus was also left completely in the dark. So I don't know. I think a Venus one would be fucking insane.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. This has been a great season.
Yeah. I mean, look, I just don't. I don't know how to predict what's going to happen.
Right. Oh man. Well, anything else that you wanted to touch on before we get out of here?
No, I mean, great episode. I love Tiff. Tiff's a great character. She brought a lot to the season, but I very much enjoyed that blindside. It was like really, really like the 1-2 punch of Hunter and Tiffany going out exactly the same way back to back with idols in their pockets. It's kind of just electric Survivor.
Yeah. Totally agree. So hey, Tiff, Survivor 50 is around the corner. I think she's top of mind right now. She could potentially work it. Yeah, I mean, the problem is this is a very competitive cast for returning players, and they can't bring back 5 people from this cast. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. What was the most? Was it 5 on All Stars for Australia? Yeah. That was. I mean, Australia is obviously a legendary season. Like we get it. It is funny that they brought back like, what was it, 8 people from the first 2 seasons? Like almost half the
9,
cast.
right?
Yeah, 9.
Yeah, because there's 4 from Borneo and 5 from Australia. Half of the cast was
half of the cast was the first 2 seasons. That's so awesome.
I mean, but from that perspective, it made sense. Like those are the 2 big seasons of the show, and then there was definitely like a significant drop for Africa.
Although they brought 3 people back from Africa, so
yeah. But there was speculation at the time that like that was because of the falling
confirmation. Yeah. But hey, they were worried. They split them up. They made 3 tribes, I think, specifically to split up.
Yeah.
Those 3.
Yeah.
And they were honestly, if Mogo Mogo wins 1 challenge, I think those 3 all make the merge and maybe, go deep into the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they win a challenge and probably also, well, actually, I guess because like, do they do the like tribe swap the way they do? If Mogo Mogo wins that, I guess it depends, right?
Yeah.
I guess it depends how Saboga gets like, because Saboga probably loses. Yeah. I don't know. It's tricky. It might be like kind of a similar merge with like Ethan and for I don't know who would go instead. Maybe Jenna Lewis. I don't know.
Yeah, Jenna Lewis or Alicia, I guess.
Yeah, Alicia is a good pick. Alicia on the other side, yeah. Yeah. So I don't have anything else. I'm excited for the rest of the season. At this point, I think Hard Locked, in my opinion, one of the probably better than most Survivor in the last decade.
Yeah, no, agreed. And yeah, I do think in the off season we should maybe even just do streams of just like, we get like that, just a relitigate if Mogo Mogo wins an immunity challenge.
Yeah. Can Ethan go deep in All Stars?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, especially if Jenna Lewis is the one who takes the hit, like if she's she was the big robber, I get the winners out. So
yeah, I don't think there's really bad blood between Rupert and Ethan. That that's like a potential ally for him at the merge. It could have been interesting. Also, by far the most in shape Ethan, like we had. He was jacked on that season.
Yeah. I think it'll be fun. I think like at the very least, we're a year and a half out. Like we're probably like a year and like 3 to 4 months out from it filming, and like a year and like 9 months out from it airing, 10 months out from it airing. So I would say probably after 48, we could like put together our expected cast and our dream cast, and we do like an off-season video in the summer of 2025 on that.
Yeah, we'll of course do a preview podcast as soon as we have the cast confirmed, like we did for Winners at War, where it's like we couldn't possibly be spoiled on how this goes at this point. So let's just talk about it, because I thought that was super fun to do. The hype for 40 was unreal, and I imagine it will be similar if they really do go back and bring back some people from the past,
Yeah, I mean, look, all I'm asking, bring back one person from Gabon and one person from Nicaragua, please. Criminally underrepresented casts in returnee.
I don't know how old Marty is, but maybe this is the time we get. He was someone also felt like a sure thing, he would be back, and he never was.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously, I said like I picked 4 winners that I would want to see back, and Fabio was one of the 4. Fabio was like probably like the one person that I was the most upset was on Winners at War. I know he had like some apparently some like health issues after Nicaragua. So from being on Survivor, it like kind of like messed him up, and like I think he had to be like in physical therapy or something like that. I don't want to speak too knowledgeably when I'm not 100% sure.
I actually had a tweet that got a bit of traction where someone was like, it's criminal that he wasn't on Winners at War, and I like quote tweeted it was like they knew that he would have won, so they like couldn't put him on. Like and people liked that. I think it's a common, it was a joke, I think, before Winners at War happened, but I do think in retrospect, people have looked at Fabio's game and I think they appreciate it for what it was.
Yeah, 100%. I think that Fabio is like a very underrated player, and like character as well. And like anybody from Nicaragua, like pretty much like you could throw a dartboard at like 80% of that cast and like get a star.
Nyanka, she played longer than a New Era season. I don't think she should be disqualified from a New Era season.
Yeah, I know she put an Instagram post out saying like, put me back in, coach, or whatever. So like,
dude, Nyanka was so electric that she quit and they still made her a main character of the season. Like undeniable, like great television.
Yeah, even Benry. Put Benry back on. Put Benry on Survivor 50. Like he's like the Haley Ford on up in that bitch. Like I'm like a really big Benry fan. I think he gets forgotten a lot. And then from Gabon, like Crystal and Kenny, like the fact that they never got a call back is crazy to me.
Crazy. Yep. So crazy. I guess it was so close to heroes versus villains. They didn't want to they wanted the Sugar and Randy, which I think was good, and they wanted Corinne, but she wasn't able to do it, and then she came back later. I know Bob was in the mix. Well, everyone was in the mix for Blood versus Water. Like they were, reaching out to tons of people. I don't know if Bob would come back. He's, decently old now, but I think he's still in good shape. Ace, I would love to see Ace come back. I would love to see if he still has a British accent.
Yeah.
Matt, I don't know what Maddie's doing these days, but he's someone who's almost transcended Survivor and meme culture from that smiling meme. Yeah. So, I mean, you and I love Gabon, so we could be here and be like, you know what? I think Jillian, she could be good. Could be good to bring Jillian back.
Yeah, get Jackie Berg out there again. I think she got a lot in her.
She was screwed. She was screwed by
the screwed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like she was the glue that what did Coda do after she got out? They didn't stick together.
For fun, yeah.
You don't do that swap. Marcus wins Gabon for sure.
No, but for real though, like they have so many. Like there's like what is it, like 800-900 people have played Survivor. Like in not even 100 to 200 have returned. Like you have like 600 people. Even if you just did only one-time players to pick from, and you could still make an insane cast.
Yep. I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, I'm going to get my hypes up because I know they'll probably fuck up the cast in some way. It'll be like, a 20-person cast and 16 of them will be New Era, and the 4 people who aren't are going to be, Rick Devins and Dom, and like one random old school person who goes out and in like 17th place.
Yeah, that was. It does suck, and like if you're just like a newer person watching the show, it's going to really suck at first when you're watching an all-star season and people you like get voted off, but just remember, like, it's just a game. It's just fun. Like, we talk about legacy and stuff here, and like, I don't think your legacy can get tarnished on an all-star season unless you like do something insanely dumb.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't we have a segment to like last week or the week before about how JT's legacy
is the one who like he put a torch to his legacy.
Yeah.
Like he almost went out of his way to be like, watch how bad I can be at Survivor after playing a perfect game.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing, because I don't think less of like Yao Man for going out third on Fans versus Favorites.
Well, yeah, I mean Yao Man was kind of like the same circumstance that we're discussing here, where like it wasn't like an old school new school situation, but it was like a they really heavily drew from like 2 to 3 seasons, and then Yao Man was the only one from his season. That's
a great point.
Yeah.
So Hi, Ben. Where can they find you online?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Ben Sharon. I think I did tweet about I tweeted about something. I can't remember. There was reality TV related.
He tweeted last night about
Huh?
Survivor. Yeah, he
Did
tweeted
I?
last
Okay.
night about Survivor.
Oh, did I make that? I think I tweeted about the Applebee's joke or something like that.
Yeah.
So like that's like the Applebee's like got I hope they paid extra for the amount of for the amount of advertising they got out of this.
I mean, they have to be real happy today. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah. They could they cut it a full ad segment, 30 seconds. They run, Applebee's is so good that it makes you have a mental breakdown if you if somebody takes it away from you.
Yeah, that's true. And then like after it, we did talk about Jeff apparently immediately cutting a promo about being like Survivor stuff apply.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Like,
yeah, I love it.
That's why he's such a good host.
Yeah. No, Jeff this season, like you said, Jeff this season has been on his A game. Like he's kind of like he's been hit and miss for a lot of the new era, especially like in the 41 to 42 range where he was like really kind of very robotic and he's found his stride this season again, and I hope it sticks.
I do think it was the Quitters.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Quitters broke him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, I'm just going to go sicko mode from now on. Just like,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Survivor.
Mm-hmm. She did.
Yeah.
Because this is the multiple Emmy winning host that we all know and love.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who won so many Emmys in a row that they kind of like soft like locked him out from the category. Yeah. It was like he's not banned, but like he's obviously so good at this that we're just not gonna give it to him every year because that'd be dumb.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I have. That's where you can find me.
You can find me on Twitter also at the Fake BMAR, BMARR. Channel is on Twitter at WG Everything. Just put a new main channel video out talking about some gamers being angry about various things. It was a fun one to film. Some people got mad at me. They got angry at me for apparently not understanding one of the controversies. You'll have to watch that and immediately realize the people who probably got mad at me. That was a lot of fun. Sports channel, Wicked Sports, and this is Better Radio. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.